How about now? Probably I was speaking the whole time and nothing was getting through. No sounds. Okay, I'm getting it through. Okay, thanks. All right, yep, my microphone wasn't working. So let me start from the beginning. Thank you all for coming out for the stream tonight. Hey, Janie. Um, my mom followed tonight too, so thanks for coming in, Eric as well, and Carly, and Christopher. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for the follows. So yeah, tonight's gonna be a little bit different. Instead of tasting mead tonight and sharing the different tastes of the mead, we're actually gonna be making mead. Gonna make different kinds. I've got 3 1-gallon carboys. That's what I have right here. If I've got enough mead, I'm gonna make 3 different types of mead. I think I've only got enough honey for 2 batches. But the first batch is gonna be our Cinnamede, which was a really popular one. Was my favorite as well. And that's just using, instead of water, using apple juice. And we also got some cinnamon sticks here we're gonna be adding into it. And it's going to be really neat to check it out once I add it in. You're going to see that the cinnamon sticks like to float between the water and the honey, which makes a really cool visual effect. Another one that I'm going to make is a new one, which is going to be a black cherry mead. And we're going to use this one. It's not going to be enough for making a full 1 gallon just using the black cherry juice, which I don't want to overpower it with that cherry juice. We're going to use the some water for filling up the rest of it. Also, the yeast that's being used, it's amazing how many different types of yeast are out there and what they do for just different types of sugars. But the yeast going to be using tonight is the one that we've used on pretty much all of our batches except for the traditionals. And it's going to be this yeast right here, the K1-V1116. What all the numbers stand for, I have no clue. It's just what works best for the mead that we've been making. Giving a quick update on the current meads that are right now in the aging process and clearing process. We've got our 1 gallon traditional, which is going to be back flavored with pumpkin spice and cayenne seasoning. That's possibly going to become our Night of the Living mead. We've got our sangria one, which is our Pacria, and that one from our mead maker says it tastes really good already. We've got our raspberry, which is our popular, and our new one, which is a blackberry. Those are coming out really well, and all of our 5-gallon traditionals are coming out real well as well. So, and hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll be able to bottle those and have them coming out pretty soon. So yeah, and supposedly I say a lot, so if you hear me say a lot, call me out in chat, because I'm going to work on trying not to say a lot. And what I'm drinking tonight is one of our Wildflower Sweet Traditionals. That's our base now, which is the Wildflower honey, which is just it's a really good high quality honey. It's just cheaper than the raspberry, because the raspberry blossom honey is pretty expensive. All right, so I'm gonna move this a little bit closer so you can see the magic happening here. ET, you're gonna have to move a little bit. I appreciate that. Thank you. So what I have in the floor over here beside me, I've got a 5-gallon bucket with hot water that the honey's sitting in right now. Of course, the honey is inside plastic containers, and that's just that way the honey becomes loose and it comes out easier, and we don't have to wait for it to slowly pour out, which is makes things a lot faster. Thanks, Dustin, for the follow. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you coming in for the stream tonight. I'm going to move this over here. This is a measuring cup, of course. We're not measuring out per cups. We're measuring out per pound. And so imagine having about 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of honey in front of you to eat. 3 1/2 pounds of that's what this yeast is going to do. It's going to be eating the sugar from the honey, creating the alcohol that we need for our mead. I have a little small scale right here. Got it for Christmas. My wife got it for me. It works really well. So we're able to zero out and measure our honey to make sure we get the right amount. Also, you have to measure out the yeast too. You don't want to put too much yeast, as your mead won't come out properly, won't taste as well. Might even be too much yeast inside of it. So we're gonna make, I said again, I just heard it. Alright, we're gonna start with our Cinnamon first. And what I'm going to do first is add a tiny bit. I'm going to move this camera up real quick. Matt, you should have followed the stream a long time ago. I'm going to add just a little bit of apple juice into the carboy. Everything that I'm using right now has been sanitized, so we want to make sure we don't have any bacteria, anything getting into the carboys. So all my utensils, everything have been sanitized, been cleaned out, been drying over here on a clean towel. Want to make sure we don't risk having to pour down this precious honey. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the apple juice in here. And that's just so that not all the honey will stick to the bottom of this carboy. Next, we're going to measure out, because we want a sweet mead. We don't want a dry one. We want it to be, for the cinnamon mead, pretty sweet. The less honey you use, the drier you'll have, because more sugar the yeast will eat. And so we want to use roughly about 3.5 pounds of honey inside this carboy in order to have a good sweet mead. Let's go ahead and use this one that's already open. It should be pretty warm and ready to go. Now I'm using not our 100% our wildflower honey that we get from Dutch Gold. I'm using Costco Kirkland wildflower honey, which also comes from the same location that our honey comes from, which is Argentina. Oop, I'm already messing up already. Got to measure it first. I'm focusing on the stream more than I should be while I'm making mead. All right, it just might be a little bit sweeter. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get this poured in here. All right, that's 1 pound. That's 2 pounds. And already right there is quite a bit of honey. And I'll add a little bit of apple juice to this in a minute to get the rest of that honey out of that bottle. Go ahead and crack open the other one. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Everybody seems to be quiet in the chat. Just mesmerized by the honey pouring, I guess. All right, slowing it down. All right, that's roughly 3 pounds right there. And that's where we're going to stop. We're pretty close to the top over here. Let me try not to put that in front of the camera. Alright, so this is over 4 cups of honey right here that make out about 3.7.9 pounds. That's roughly about 3.5 pounds right there. And we're going to go ahead and pour this into our carboy. Carefully without making a mess. I'm already making a mess. You should see the messes that we make when we're actually making 5-gallon batches of honey using 5-gallon buckets of honey. And sadly, I didn't bring any towels in here, paper towels, to clean up any messes. So we're just going to have messes. I will have to go rinse off my hand here in just a minute. So just getting a sound check and video check. Matt, are you still hearing me and see everything clearly? Just taking my time pouring this honey in here as it's going down slowly into the mead, into the carboy here. I must not be getting anything from the chat. I'll have to check that in a moment. Alright, slowly getting down to the last of it here in this measuring cup. Thank you, Charlie, for coming in. Thank you for the follow. Alright. I've got honey all over this stainless steel table, but that's what stainless steel tables are for. Let me make sure I'm getting some chat. I don't see any chats coming in right now. Thanks, Terry, for the follow. While the rest of this mead's pouring in, I'm going to go rinse off my honey-covered hand real quick, so I'll be right back. Stickiness be gone. Let me mop this mess up a little bit. There is a lot of chat, so I'm not seeing the chat coming through right now. So I apologize if I'm missing any of the chat at the moment. I am going to pull up. Ooh, I goofed up. I'm going to pull up my Twitch externally. I'm not sure why it's goofing up right now, so I greatly apologize. Let me mute this. Alright, so if I've missed your chat and you had questions or anything like that, feel free to chat back Again, will answer any questions. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why it wasn't working properly. Now, while I'm looking for a measuring cup, which is right there. Thank you, Sonia, for letting me know that there's a chat coming in, and there's a lot of chat, so I'm not sure why I'm missing all that. As much as I would like to lick my fingers because this honey is delicious, I'm not going to do it. Still not seeing any chat yet. Close this out. Yes, close that out. Open this up. Multi-stream. Oh wow. Okay. I'm learning. Alright, I'm gonna go back through all the chat and everything right here. I see Black Cherry Yum. FaceTime on Facebook Live. ET says, let her rip tater chip. Thanks, Mike. Just say, hey, T-Bone, and I will leave you alone. Yep, hey, T-Bone. Said, don't look, gasp. Agnes will kill you, and I will have to dig the hole. I see you and hear you clearly. I hear you, always good. Who is the IT person, and where are they at? Right, this is the first time I've done a multi-stream, so I didn't realize within my Streamlabs that there's a multi-stream tab that needs to be clicked. Who knew? We're here. Hey, how are y'all doing? ET did it. How about now? Alright, everything's good. I figured it out. See, when I'm doing a multi-stream while I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all at the same time. All new stuff there. Alright, back to what we were doing. We've got, again, a little bit of, and you can already see the separation here. You can see the apple juice and the honey here at the bottom, the wildflower honey. We're going to go ahead and fill this up, not all the way to the top. We need room for gases to get out, or else you'll have a meat explosion overnight, and we don't want that. So we don't need the CO2 causing issues. So let's go ahead and get our funnel here. That is covered with honey, delicious honey. And I am using over-the-counter organic store-bought apple juice. The plan in the future is to partner with a apple farm in order to get us the apple juice or apple cider that we would be using for our meads in the future. Let's carefully go ahead and fill this up. And I'm just covering the funnel too a little bit to try to get some of this honey that's stuck on the side of this funnel down in there to the carboy. Should pour me some of this apple juice. It smells really good. Alright, I think that's where we're going to stop at. You can always add a little bit more afterwards if we need to, after we shake the pure mess out of it. And we're going to go ahead, and that separation is just cool looking in the camera. Honey on bottom, apple juice up top. Now once you have the honey mix, that's what you call a must. And that's a M-U-S-T, so creating a must for our mead. I'm going to go ahead and drop the 2 cinnamon sticks in here as well. They're going to get soaked and kind of float there to the bottom in just a little bit. And I need to find my caps for of these so I can shake the pure mess out of them without mead flying everywhere. Alright, everything still looks good on the multi-stream. Okay. We're gonna float down a little bit. It's just kind of cool how the cinnamon is just hanging there. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and close this up, and I'm gonna shake the pure mess out of it to get it mixed up. This does give you a nice arm workout. Let's see. And as long as I don't drop it, everything will be okay. It's actually mixing pretty well. That's what it looks like currently. It's just all a haze. Matt, go ahead and hit something in that chat. Just make sure we're still getting live chat, please. There's still some honey stuck at the bottom here, so I'm gonna shake it up a little bit more. Get those arms moving. Yep, can see that. Thank you, Matt. So I want to make sure it's all working. Alright, so it looks like all the honey on the bottom of the carboy has been mixed up. Just to be sure. Thanks, T-Bone. Alright, so that's mixed up. We're going to let those bubbles kind of clear out there a little bit. Let it shake that mead. Shake that mead. That's funny, Matt. Alright, we're going to let that sit for a little bit. Let those bubbles get settled out of there. So that's our must for our Cinnamede. Next, I'm going to set this to the side. Next, we're going to work on our black cherry, which I've got a really cool idea for that for our label, if it comes out well. We do have a cherry one that's right here, but we used really tart cherry concentrated juice, and I'm hoping that with more aging it'll taste better. It tastes decent, but it's not where it needs to go. Don't give away all your secrets. Why? It's so much fun. I don't want to keep secrets. I'm just excited. That's all it is. I'm just excited. Alright, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this funnel so I don't have honey everywhere. When we're doing our large meads, we have the 5-gallon bucket of honey. And Daryl, one of our other business owners, has this gigantic metal ladle. As much as we try, that honey goes everywhere, and by the time we're done, he also has a scale similar to this. The scale is covered with honey, the counter's covered with honey. Once we have our actual equipment and a pump, we won't have honey everywhere. It's just really hard to do when you don't have a pump and you got to ladle it over and measure it. So it's not perfect for us. So black cherry mead this time. Now this one we're going to use water, cherry juice, and the wildflower honey. I'm just going to add a little bit of cherry juice up in here. And once again, we're going to... What's up?
He just wants to say goodnight.
Hold on one second. I'm going to tell my kiddo goodnight. Good night, big boy.
Night, Daddy.
Love you.
Love you.
You want to tell everybody else goodnight since you like the stream? Go ahead. Say goodnight.
Night.
Alright, you sleep sweet, buddy.
I will.
Alright, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Had to tell the kiddo goodnight. Heading off to bed. Alright, we'll go ahead and start measuring out 3.5 pounds of this honey. Got to get this spatula out of here too. This is just going to go on the stainless steel table. I don't care. It's going to get cleaned anyway. I'll go ahead and zero this out and start pouring for our honey. Don't know if y'all saw Owen's pajamas there. They're pretty cool. It's got the wolf in a spacesuit. It's pretty unique. All right, we're at 2 pounds. I would sing him a lullaby, but he sings a lot better than I sing, so he'll be able to sing himself to sleep pretty easily. Honestly, there's sometimes you can't get the boy to stop singing. Alright, keep going here. Getting close to the edge, but I think I've got just enough honey in this bottle. That's gonna make it right there at 3.5 pounds. That's perfect. Sadly, I still have another bottle over here, but I don't believe it's enough to make another batch. It might be just enough to do a dry mead, but I don't think it's enough to even attempt that. You know, we karaoke. I know you got the karaoke machine. I haven't seen it powered up though. It's been a while. Alright, I'm going to move my keyboard out the way because we don't want honey on the keyboard. Alright, let's see if I get better at pouring this honey and I don't get it all over my hand this time. Alright, so far so good. So, slowly let this golden nectar go into this carboy. It's kind of gotten a little bit chilled, so it's going to take a little bit longer to pour this. It's like Facebook quit working. Twitch still works. So if you're still following on Facebook, looks like it may have stopped working. I do see it on my end over here on Facebook working, Matt, so it might be on your end. They grow up fast. Before you know it, they're opening Meadery. You're right. He's actually excited that it's going to be opening because I told him I would get a fridge over there for him to have some sodas and stuff whenever he can come in. He thinks it's going to be a player, and I told him no, that's going to be a safety, but he can come in, do his homework, chill out, see the whole thing, what's happening, and he'd have some sodas. He's just excited about the sodas. Yep, this is most definitely going slower due to the honey already chilling from out of the hot water here. I should have left it there in the bucket for a little bit longer. That's okay, we'll get there. This is much easier than doing a 5-gallon carboys for sure. Well, Charlie, both my mom and dad are on this stream as well, so they probably can. I'm pretty sure they're thinking the same that you just said there, that they grow up fast. All right, we're getting there. Now the you can't see it because it's out of the camera shot here, but my funnel is almost filled up to the top with honey. This is how slow the honey's pouring in right now. So I can give a little bit more updates. The stainless steel table that I got here, I was able to purchase off Facebook Marketplace for a really good deal. Came from a restaurant that was closed up during COVID, so I was able to help out the people trying to recoup some money from losing their place of business. Also, I got 4 CO2 tanks and a sink from another person on Facebook Marketplace who also, their restaurant had to close up due to COVID. And I was able to help them out. We're buying stuff for our business and finding good deals for them, but we're also able to help out the community as well, which is really awesome. I feel bad that they lost their business, but talking to them, they seemed really upbeat. Pretty much had a backup plan. So didn't seem like they were bad off, which is really good. That shows that the economy is getting better as well. But I'm just thankful that we're able to help them. Hey, how long does it take front start to finish, ready to drink? So I guess that's how long does it take. It takes roughly 12 to 14 days during fermentation for the fermentation to finish up. And it depends on the mead that you make for the aging process. The Pacria took 3 weeks and already tastes really well. It's still degassing. Daryl degassed them today, and they still had a lot of bubbles, which this tells you there's a lot of CO2. So even though it tastes really good right now, being that CO2 is still in there, that is causing the off gas, it will taste a lot better after a little while. Let me go fix this door real quick. I got you. So once all that gas is released, it's going to taste a whole lot better. Okay, so we've got all the honey for that one, 3.5 pounds of honey. I'm going to take my juice, pour it into this container of honey. I'm going to mix it up and try to get what's left of this honey in this. We don't want to waste any honey. There we go. Pour this in here. Wonder how that would taste, just the honey and the juice itself. I should try that. Alright, and I'm gonna do the same. This one. Alright, where'd my other honey cap go? There it is. And you know what? I am going to try this. I'm going to see how juice and honey taste together before it becomes mead. So there you have it. A little bit right there. Wow. That's really good. That's very good. Sorry if I missed it, but did y'all come up with the name for the blueberry mead? We're still tossing around a few of them. We haven't narrowed it down yet on which one. We have some really good ideas for it, and even with the labels, but we haven't narrowed it down to which one we want to use. We haven't also narrowed down the one for our raspberry mead either. Got a few ideas for that one, but nothing that we've settled on at the moment. The blackberry mead, don't know which one we're going to use for that. It just dependent upon if it comes out tasting really well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this juice in here. And as always, make sure you recycle. And as always, make sure you have the correct lid. But make sure you recycle all your plastics. We want to protect the environment, help the bees. We need more money, save the bees. Did I say more money or more honey? I probably goofed up my words here. We need more honey, save the bees. Alright. And for the water, we're not using just normal tap water because tap water has a lot of minerals and stuff in there that we don't want in with the mead. You don't want it to potentially grow bacteria. So we got some distilled water right here. We are wanting the blackberry also. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. It's still aging. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Now for our meadery, we've already figured out that we will be using a filtration system with the city water. Even though the city water in Berghoff, the location that we're looking at, is good, we still want to make sure we have some high quality water going into our meads. We're going to stop it right there. Give it enough space to expand. So we'll have a filtration system for all of our batches to have high quality ingredients all the way through. Water, fresh fruit, fresh whatever we can get our hands upon. With the cherries, we'll be able to get either organic cherry juice or get cherry juice shipped into us. And that's not releasing any bubbles because I left that on. Still got a lot of bubbles in it. So you can see, even though this cherry juice is really black, you can still see the separation right there of the honey. But we really have to mix that up. Work those arms. Flip it around, get the other side. Well, hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have the blackberry bottled. So you'll be able to try that for sure. We'll have at least 3 to 4 regular bottles of it and a sampler. Alright. Let's look at this. It's still got honey at the bottom there. The other one mixed easily because the honey was still more liquid due to it still being warm, and this is more solidified honey, and I can still see it there at the bottom. Getting there. All right. I think that should be it. Now the cinnamon still has a lot of bubbles. I don't need the scale anymore, so I'll get that out of the way. And I'll bring the cinnamon on over here too. So yeah, they still got a good head of bubbles up there. They're not gonna settle that much, but they look awfully pretty for starting. So now we're on to the next step. I don't even see the the cinnamon sticks are still floating on top of the cinnamon. So next we're going to be working on our yeast. So 50 mils. I'm going to have to measure that out, so I have to bring the scale on back. Now what you want to do with the yeast is that you want the pitcher yeast, which is rehydrating your yeast. So a little bit of warm water. This is room temperature water, so it is warm. Add a little bit of that. Now I want to change my scale. And we want 2 ounces of yeast. I don't even think we need 2 ounces. That might be overkill. That might be for the 5 gallon. I'm just going to eyeball it because we don't really need that much yeast. Doesn't take much yeast, which is really nice too. You don't need a ton of yeast to get things rolling in these. I'm just mixing this up here. It's becoming cloudy. You can't see it too well in the camera. The smell of the yeast is not the greatest smell. Also, during the fermentation process, when you got the water locks on, you got to keep an eye out for fruit flies. Fruit flies like to show up and try to get inside the water lock to get into the meat itself. So we're gonna let that sit there for a minute. And it doesn't take very long for that yeast to be ready to go in there. We're gonna add that to our cinnamon first. We'll make sure we get all that yeast in there, all that good yeast to start eating those sugars and releasing those gases, creating that nice content of alcohol in there that we're looking for. And we're going to give that a little shake. Alright, that one's got our yeast in it. Limit the word of yeast. I can't because that's what the ingredient is. Alright, go ahead and add some water into here. And get our next ingredient of eaten sugar. Is that what I should call it now? There for Mike. Alright. That should be a good amount right there. Mix this on up. Alright, we're going to let that sit just for a little bit so it rehydrates. And something else that I failed to do that we need to do too is that we need to measure our gravity levels. Now our gravity levels will tell us what the alcohol content is at the end of fermentation. So at the beginning, because there's yeast up here. See, Owen is more mature than Mike Sykes. You're right. So we gotta take, let me go ahead and pour this yeast. It should be already hydrated enough to go ahead and pour into the cherry. We'll give that a little shake here in a moment. But we're gonna go ahead and pull a sample out of the cinnamon here. So we can take a gravity reading on it. Now, the gravity reading that we're doing right now, we're measuring the sugar content. How much sugar is inside this batch already. At the end, we take another reading, and that measures the content of the sugar still within the mead. And doing a little bit of math, which I cheat with a spreadsheet that was given by a mead group, and that will give you the rough amount of percentage of alcohol that's in it. We've been pretty good at being around 13 to 15% with all of our meads. But let's take a look here at this one. Let's do a grilling and mead show. That would be cool. We should do that. That would be awesome. All right, so this mead is at 1.1. Wow. It's a lot of sugar in this one. It's off the scale, actually. So we're going to go with 1.161. 1.161, and that is the cinnamon. Okay. Lay that on over there. I'm gonna move my keyboard because I'm gonna carefully move this back in without using the funnel. All right. So we've got to put a water lock on this one. Now, what the water lock allows you to do, if you don't already know, it allows the gases to escape during the fermentation process. All you have to do for the water lock, this is what it looks like right here. A little bit clearer, closer. Get in front, right there. That's what it looks like. So I'll add just a touch of water into here. Don't need to fill it up, just enough where it can bubble away. And put the water lock on top of the mead, and the cinnamon is ready to go. Now the next 3 days for this mead, I'll have to add nutrient for the next 3 days in the evenings. I have to degas it first, because if I don't, I'm gonna have a volcano coming out of it, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this over to my cabinet. Thank you, Sonia, for the follow. I've got all your chat here on my watch. And we're going to go ahead and get our, well, I gotta give that a shake. Gotta give it a shake first. Done. We can blend said food on the grill with the appropriate mead. That would be really cool. We should do that. I feel like I just heard splashing, but that wasn't the case. That would be horrible news right there. Alright. Got that mixed up. get our sample out of here. That's already a really pretty color. It's not too dark. Just when the mead gets done and we add our fining agents into it that cause it to drop all the yeast and everything out of it to have it clear, that's when you get your final picture of the color there. Thinking about the mead, I need to have a little sippy of the mead. Oh, that's good. That's real good. Alright, we'll drop our hydrometer in here. And let's see where we're at. This has come out to be the exact same as the Cinnamon. That's good. That's where we want to be. We want to have our counts at least the same for all of our meads at the starting point. When you're using the exact same amount of honey, that means we're spot on for both. Black cherry. Alright, so right now we won't know what our percentage comes out till it's done fermenting in the next 12 to 14 days. Alright. Get in there. Come on now. Don't mess with ET. ET hasn't done nothing. Pour this on in here. Now, when you make a cherry mead, that's called Viking blood mead. And it's spelled B-L-O-D. And this one will be our black Viking blood mead. Thus, the reason why we're using black cherry. The label for this one, I'm not going to say what it is. That will be a surprise. Some of you already know. But it's going to be a really cool label, especially for this area on the East Coast. That's all I'm going to say about it. Just preparing the water lock now. At our cap. And there we have it. We now have 2 meads set up going, and I have apple juice and just a smidge of rest of this honey left. And if I weigh it out, it's probably not even going to be 2 pounds of honey. Gotta push it to the correct unit. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, not even 2 pounds. So, we'll not be able to make another batch of honey, batch of mead tonight. Let's set that to the side. So, that is pretty much the process. Now, when it comes to doing actual fruits, I'm going to move this back down since I'm sitting down now. There we go. Now when it comes to doing actual fruits, it takes a little bit more. You got to do prep, of course, clean the fruits. If you have fresh fruits, it's best to freeze them first in order to kill off any bacteria or anything that may be in those fruits. And then bring them out the next day before mead making and file them out. You can add them into the primary, you can add them into the secondary, but the primary you're able to get most of that flavor out of your fruits, out of whatever you add into that primary first. It's also, I think for our bigger batches, once we do our big fermenters, it's going to have to actually push down what's called the cap of the fruit. That way you don't have any mold or anything pulling up. You just push it down. That way they get moist again. People hate that word, but it's a legit word. But Mike is probably already cracking up over that one now. But so yep, that's let's see. Sonia asked about the carboy. I answered to the best of my knowledge. A little googling let me know there are more sizes. How big are the ones that you were using? Okay, so we've got the 1 gallon, so it's the one that we're using on this stream, and then we have the large 5 gallons, which let me see if I got one here. I don't, because we took it over to Daryl's to make our 5 batches, so we got 15 gallons of traditional mead that we'll be bottling here soon. So yeah, they have multiple sizes, but we mainly use the 1 gallons and the 5 gallons. So yep, just different process we're going to be doing. We Agnes actually came up with a really cool idea for St. Patrick's Day. So next year, that will be a really cool one. It's a really cool idea to do there. You may be thinking just adding green food coloring to it. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's really good. It's really cool. So can't wait to share that one next year. Looks like the one that go on a water cooler. Yep, that's right. Except they're made out of glass and they're heavy. And if you drop it, you have 5 gallons of mead everywhere. Don't drop it. So thank you all for joining tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I plan on having some more here in the future, giving updates, maybe just answering questions, maybe even powering up the arcade while hitting up some games, doing some mead and gaming. And I like Mike's idea doing grilling and mead tasting. So seeing what types of mead go along with what types of food off the grill. That'd be really cool. So we'll you and me, Mike, we'll get together. The mics will get together. So again, thank you all for joining tonight, and I hope y'all have a great evening. And until next time, peace.